hear this, you are not alone. This is the resistance.
It seems like it's just one of those things. It's like, okay, you can't blame a group or music or movies or whatever. You know, if especially with activist communities, you know, especially ones with a set ideology. I have never once seen Anonymous post a video saying, "Hey, let's go on a fucking shooting spree." I hear a lot of take actions. I've even heard a few videos saying, "Bring guns to these protests if you feel the need to defend yourself." But I've never heard, "Hey, let's go on a fucking killing spree and start a war."
No, exactly, and that's the point here. There's no... Now, I might be lying here. I don't know for sure. I say there's no coordination here. But if you pay close attention to the information that I'm receiving, there's been incidences that have happened all over the city in such large distances apart that no one man could have covered that distance. Like, people on Twitter and things like that are saying, they're not after one guy, they're after the Flash, dude. He's not a psycho. And that led me to believe that there could be more than one shooter at play.
Yeah,
and that's going to be, if that ends up being what happened, then that's an entirely new bag of worms. So that means people did organize and did decide to go to war with this and really, really left a lot of people out of the loop. A lot of people that may have either talked them out of it or, like I said, planned something a hell of a lot more impacting. Like, and I'm not about going about violently. That's not my thing. But this... At the very end of all of this, we saw what happened to Christopher Dorner.
Yep.
There is no virtuous end to these means.
Oh, of course not.
Nothing good's going to come from this.
He's going to die a martyr in his own mind. And, you know, he may have some people in his corner, maybe a few friends and buddies, but this is clearly not an anonymous op, as you will, or even an activist operation. Because if it were, especially in Anonymous plans shit out, they make the videos and set things in motion. There was no such anything made public as to a preemptive strike of any kind. And if there was any anonymous involvement in this, you'd be sure that there'd be a hell of a lot more Anons out there. I mean, you guys would have a fucking million mass march going down, more or less, with guns.
Yeah, that's the thing, and that's where the people have to really pick apart what's happening here, is that this is one man with the same ideology. I won't take that away from him. This man here probably believes everything that me and you believe. This isn't... I won't deny this. He's going about it in the wrong ways.
Yeah, he is. And
people do that.
Yeah, they do. And people need to understand that just because this person may agree with our ideologies or even the ideologies of Anonymous or the Tea Party or this group or that group, that does not necessarily mean that said activist community is at fault. This is the actions of a lone individual for whatever reason, but is not a result of the actions of a particular group or even having any involvement from said groups.
Well, that's the thing, and that's absolutely correct. And that's what I'm trying to explain to people too, is that I may not have known what was happening, and I'm not going to go out there and start helping him do it, but I'm not going to point the cops in his direction either. I'm sorry. I've seen what the cops do to people, and every now and again there are checks and balances in society, and welcome to one of the very few balances. And it's so horrendous that it is coming to this. These are people with children and families. This isn't not how it's supposed to go. But nobody can do what they do to people and not expect this to be a counter-strike, that people aren't going to do these kinds of things. I knew it was coming. I was watching the news. I was not watching the news, but paying attention to my news feeds and all these different things, paying attention to some of the news articles when I'm out of the house, grab my newspaper, take a look at what's going on. It's turning into a madhouse down here.
It is, and it's pretty well obvious that when the cops do catch up with this guy, unless he just totally disappears entirely, when the cops and the military do catch up with this guy, he's not getting out alive.
Oh no, he is so dead. That's like I told people, he could strip himself naked, okay, and throw his guns in the river, and they will shoot him, dress him up, and put a gun in his hand to make sure everything's cool.
Yeah, they're not going to want this guy alive, and I would, me personally, I would love to see this guy taken alive, if for no other reason than to see what this guy has to say. I want to hear the explanation from this person's mouth. I want to know why he did it, and I don't think he's going to get that opportunity. None of us are going to get that opportunity, because if it's anything contrary to the New World Order that's going to shed light on this matter, they're going to want to shut this up as quickly as possible and then chop it up as he was a conspiracy nut who needed to be taken out.
Oh, you ready to see my conspiracy nut side of this too? You really want to laugh?
Oh, go for it, dude. I am dying to hear this one.
Okay, still, again, speculation, conspiracy, still looking to find the facts as we speak, okay? But I have it under good authority so far that there was a training exercise in a rural, little countryside area in the province here yesterday that involved a lone shooter. Very interesting that there was an exercise yesterday, and I have a live theater event in my city today.
Another red flag, right?
Exactly. So there is levels of conspiracy to be found in this if we choose to dig for it.
If I see that chick from the Sandy Hook shooting and the Boston Marathon bombing there, I'm going to fucking laugh.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I mean. This is how we're really going to see what's
the dead
going on.
Sandy Hook teacher who showed up at the Boston Marathon bombing. If she shows up there, that's 3 for 3 right there.
Yeah. And this is a big one. I've always told people, too, the next quote-unquote, and I'm not even going to say the word, the next kind of attack that would lead to a really bad situation in life, right, was doomed to hit this country. I knew it. It was coming. You guys got 9/11. Middle East got, well, you guys. Like, someone, needed to be brought into a very scared police state mentality, because we have a lot of police state in Canada.
Oh, I believe it.
Just not all the way there yet. You know what I mean? Like, there's a room for expansion for the New World Order in the country of Canada, if you understand what I'm saying.
Oh, I got you, bro.
We're not a free country. We just happen to be freer than a lot of them.
Yeah,
and
you're just a few steps behind tyranny.
We don't know who's freer between the two of us right now, or if we're just fucking stuck in an illusion of freedom.
Well, maybe it could be just as bad, possibly even worse on your guys' end.
Who knows?
The only difference is you guys have a much smaller and even broader population up there, whereas the United States, there's people everywhere. You can't fucking walk down the street more than 5 feet without running into somebody. You turn around and see somebody. That's just how it is in the United States. But with Canada, you've got fucking populations in cities all over the place, spanned out, and there are just literally miles and miles and miles of open country.
Happening here, there's about 1 million people in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 1,800,000 to 1 million, whatever the limit is to make you a metropolis, because the city here is actually registered and recognized as a metropolis. It just has the lowest amount of populace needed to become one, instead of having a really high metropolis count.
Yeah.
But I had, and that's why I got really kind of confused, because I had to admire what he was doing for a piece of it, because he ran in, apparently from the reports, he ran right in to fucking, like, well-populated areas. I'm talking, like, strip malls that include theaters and a Walmart, and didn't open fire. He didn't shoot at civilians like that. I know there may have been one in Crossfire. He may have shot it. I don't know. I don't know how it's going down. I just know that if he was targeting civilians, he had all kinds. He came across all kinds. civilian.
He had the fish in the barrel and didn't shoot.
And he didn't shoot. He selectively chose his target, and that has me very, very interested.
Well, I can't say I blame you there. You know, not necessarily condoning this, but definitely intrigued and, like me, looking for an explanation. We want to know why.
Yeah. What happened? Does he know something others don't know? Did something really bad happen to him, and he's just like, you know what, that's it, I'm done. I'm out. It's like I told some people earlier this evening, look, this guy, Justin Bourque, may have very well just decided that he's cashing in his chips today.